everyone, it's Jenny. I was just gonna go over some things. I just got back from walking. It's beautiful today, so I thought I would go for a little walk and then go home and start working on my fairy garden and all of the cute things that I got last week at the garden center. That is really cute. That's what we're gonna do today.
It may only be February, but that doesn't mean we can't have something beautiful to look at while we wait on Mother Nature. Today I'm creating a whimsical storybook garden container to bring that spring feeling indoors. This is the perfect project for a child in your life or your own inner child who's ready for a little creative magic right now. Sometimes we just need color, we need a little excitement, we need a reminder that spring is coming soon. So let's get started. Okay, well, let's talk about this container. Mine is on the larger side. It's about 22.5 inches, but you absolutely do not need a container this big to create impact. A smaller one is just fine. Even a terrarium can bring just as much joy during the winter months. What does matter is that it has good drainage. This container has a drainage hole in the bottom, which is very important. For soil, I used a well-draining mix, a blend of quality potting soil and a succulent mix just to keep the drainage, just to make sure that it has good drainage. I wanted to create a storybook scene. With over 30 years of experience arranging outdoor containers, I approached this miniature garden the same way I would landscape. Start with the large structural pieces. First, I placed the cottage house, then the koi pond and bridge, then the wishing well. Once these anchor pieces were set, I could begin building the garden around them, and that's when the fun really began. I definitely tried to incorporate some of the same principles I use in my own landscape design, which is a green, a red foliage, a blue-purple flower, a silver tone, and a touch of yellow for contrast. When I'm placing my plants, I go in with designing with color and texture. So when I'm designing, whether it's a landscape or a container, I'm always thinking about rhythm. Are the colors playing well together? Are the textures balanced? Are similar leaf sizes too close together, creating a visual heaviness? I look at that because I want to make sure that I'm spatially placing them out in good alignment, giving them just a nice rhythm where the eye just kind of slowly is drawn to certain colors, but there's also a good resting point. That's why I like to place the darker green plants kind of in between the brighter colors. I avoid placing plants with the same leaf size next to each other. Instead, I mix bold textures with delicate foliage. I combine dark greens with frosty silver. I tuck in bright flowers against the rich foliage for contrast. And then also that chartreuse. I love that chartreuse, popping it next to a purple or a pink. It's just really pretty. Lots of times I ask myself, are these contrasting colors complementing each other, or are they washing each other out? That's just something I look at when I'm looking at the project together. Sometimes bold colors need breathing room. A little balance goes a long way. It's all about rhythm. So that's how I incorporate the foliage colors and the textures. That's how I'm designing those in this container. My February flower fix is what I call this, and that's my flowers. Honestly, I was needing my little flower fix this February, and this container gives me that. It brings color, it brings imagination, it brings hope that spring is just around the corner.
I think I've created enough fullness right in here. Now I just need to kind of play around with this area. I think that these colors play off of this koi pond right here really nicely. And it looks good next to this chartreuse color. And you want to make sure that you get them packed in there pretty good. Not super tight, but just make sure that the root ball is nicely covered with the soil. I think the funnest part is just figuring out your design. Just trying to come up with different little fun little arrangements.
And one nice bonus is that a lot of these plants are actually house plants, and they were relatively inexpensive little baby plants. So as they grow, I can pot them up individually and enjoy them throughout my home later on. So not only do I get this magical storybook garden now, but I can also have future collection of beautiful houseplants too. So once I've added the flowers and the foliage, then I start looking at the little vignettes of where I can add the little whimsical characters. So I like the little frog sitting on a log beside the cottage, and I wanted to create a little section of this container where it's telling it tells a tiny story. A dragon with a ladybug on his nose standing proudly on the bridge, looking into the koi pond, a fairy reading a book, enjoying a peaceful afternoon, little fairies playing in the dirt near the cottage and beside the wishing well, tiny hedgehogs quietly watching all the activity, and of course the mushrooms, because what cottage garden wouldn't be complete without the mushrooms. All these little vignettes create that whimsical storybook feel.
And Louis, he is just too cute. He looks like he's part of the fairy garden. He's eyeballing that bee. And I got all of these supplies actually from Amazon, except for the koi pond. I did get that, and the little wishing well. I got that from Kansas City. I got all of my plants at the Kansas City Garden Center, the family tree.
For plant care, I place this arrangement in my sunroom where it gets bright indirect light. I don't have a greenhouse, so this is the best thing I can do for right now. It is rather large, so I've got it on the floor. And if I notice any of the plants are struggling for light, I'll just use my grow lamp above, like hovering over them. Because this container is very heavy, bottom watering would be ideal for most of these plants, especially plants like cyclamen and African violets. I'll water carefully from the top, avoiding the crowns, like on the cyclamen bulbs and the centers of the African violets. Once the weather warms up, I'll look for a tub so I can bottom water outdoors. This is not meant to be a long-term container. If the plants begin to outgrow the space or look stressed, I can easily disassemble everything and create a new spring arrangement or pot each plant individually. That's actually part of the beauty of this design.
Get a close-up of the little pond, the rocks, the plants, the ferns, the beautiful flowers, and that cute little house. That house actually lights up at night, so it's solar activated. There's a Dusty Miller in there. There's one of my little fairies. There's the rocks and my cyclamen and some moss. Little wishing well. There's the little frog, zoom in on him. There's my cute little fairy. A little hedgehog. There's mushrooms. There's a little butterfly on the top of that house. I love the colors of these flowers, from the African violets and the cyclamen. Oh, there's my little dragon. Louie, what are you doing? I think I'm finished. I don't think Louie is, though.
If you're feeling the winter blues, I encourage you to create something like this, large or small. Just let your imagination play out. Have a little fun with it. Spring is going to be here before we know it. Until then, we can create our own little world of color and whimsy right inside our homes.
Well, I think I've gotten it completed, and this was actually the first time I've ever made one of these little fairy gardens. And anyways, I had a lot of fun doing this. It was really fun putting different textures together, and African violets, I hope they survive, cyclamen, ferns, incorporating cute little fairies, and then stepping stones, and a little log, and a koi pond with a bridge with my little cute little dragon. And I had fun smelling the stock. It smells amazing. Oh, I can't wait for spring. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but leave a comment below and let me know what you guys are doing today. But anyways, I had a lot of fun making this, and I'll do some close-ups and show you all of the little details because I think it's really pretty. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. And if you like this content, give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. I've got plenty more videos to come. So anyways, thank you. Bye.